Hi, my name is Juan, and I'm gonna talk about something that is broken in our system, and is all the topic about the work, about the labor. So one of the main labor problems in many countries, including several in Latin America, here in Colombia, for example, is the issue of labor informality. This refers to workers who are not protected by labor laws and do not have access to benefits such as social security, paid vacations, or severance pay. Mm, Informality is another problem that can be caused by various reasons, including lack of formal employment, rigid labor laws, the underground economy, and lack of enforcement of labor regulations. This can lead to poor working conditions. Mm, Another is low wages and lack of social protection for large number of workers. Mm, and I think that labor informality refers to the situation in which people work without being protected by labor laws or without being formally employed by an employer that complies with all labor regulations. This means that these workers don't have access to labor benefits, social security, paid vacation, severance pay, among others, like I said before. And I think that labor informality can manifest itself in various forms, such as unregistered self employment. Employment in the informal sector of the economy, for example, street vendors, unregistered domestic workers, or even formal employment in companies that don't comply with labor regulations. For example, here in Colombia, it's more common see like mm, home countries, nationals companies disrespect these laboral laws more than international companies. From that's what I'm talking. So unemployment refers to the situation in which people who are of working age and who are available and actively seeking employment cannot find work in other companies. For example, in other words, unemployment happens when there is a mismatch between the supply of labor and the demand for labor in the labor market in the companies. Unemployment rates are calculated as the percentage of the active labor force that is unemployment at a given time. Mm, I think that unemployment can be caused by variety, a lot of factors, including economy downturns, changing industry structure, like for example the pandemic. A lot of companies or a place to work have had to change the way that they've been working, and mismatch between workers skills and labor market needs, taking the before idea. Mm, Another big problem, another big deal that is common to see in the streets or in the companies, in the big buildings, is a labor exploitation. This is a reality and is a situation in which workers are subject to abusive, unfair, or inhuman working conditions by their employers. For example, They work more than 48 hours per week. That is that legal in Colombia schedule. And this can manifest itself in various ways, as I said, in the time to work, such as low wages that are not enough to cover basic needs, excessively long working hours without adequate rest, as I told before. And that's not only the problem. You can work more hours than usual, but the problem is that those hours doesn't pay. The employee doesn't doesn't earn enough money to the amount of hours that they work per week. Another is lack of occupational health and safety. And safety measures, I think, and the denial of fundamental labor rights such as paid vacations, that in Colombia is depends. It could be 15 years of 15 days on vacations, but those days must be paid by your boss, for example. Another is security, social, and protections against unjustified dismissal. Labor exploitation can occur in any economic sector. You know, can occur in the big industries, for example, manufacturing. Um, I don't know how to explain what kind of industries will happen, but happen in all sectors, from the big enterprises to the smaller business. And anywhere in the world, not just in Latin America or in Colombia. It happened a lot of in China, in Asia, in Asian countries, and can affect workers of all age and levels of education. It is often more common in industries where workers have less bargaining power, such as agriculture, construction, or manufacturing and domestic work. Importantly, labor exploitation is illegal and violates workers' fundamental human rights, at least here in Colombia. But I think that the employers doesn't matter the laws and the rights of the people. Many countries have laws and regulations aimed at preventing and punishing labor exploitation, but their enforcements can be difficult due to factors such as lack of enforcement by, I don't know, employers, by corruption, and lack of resource by labor authorities. Mm, Landing the topic here, in Colombia, the protection of labor rights falls mainly on several government institutions and entities, among which the following stand out. Ministry of Labor, it is body in charge of formulating, coordinating, and directing public policies related to work and the protection of workers. But labor rights in the country, it also supervises compliance with labor laws and promotes social dialogue between employers, workers, and the government. Labor and Social Security Inspection, this entity is responsible for supervising compliance with labor and social security laws, and as well as investigating related complaints with not compliance with labor rights. Superintendency of Family Subsidy. This entity regulates and supervises family subsidy funds, which are resources intended to help workers and their families in areas such as education, housing, and health. These resources come from the government, But I think that it's not enough only to give money, that give more support than money. And ombudsman's office people, although it is not an exclusive labor entity, the ombudsman's office has the function of protecting human rights in general, which includes the defense of the labor rights of workers. These are some of the main institutions in charge of protecting the labor rights here in Colombia. Although there are also other entities and organizations that contribute to this purpose, such as unions, non governmental organizations, and labor judges, or I don't know how to say in English, OIT, International Organization for the Workers. For example, labor rights in Colombia are established in the 1991 political constitution, as well as in specific labor laws and regulations. Some of the fundamental labor rights in Colombia include, for example, right to decent work. This implies the right of every person to access an employment that guarantees fair and equal conditions, a right to equality and non-discrimination workers. For example, the workers have the right to be treated equal and not to be discriminated against based on race, gender, national origin, religion, among others. Another right is right to social security. Workers have the right to access social security, which includes health service, pensions, and occupational risk. Right to fair working conditions is another important right. That this includes the right to a fair minimum wage. That you can't earn less than the minimum wage. Reasonable working hours, as I said before, weekly paid rest, and safe and healthy workplace conditions. Right to freedom of associations and collective bargaining. That explain like workers have the right to form unions, join them and participate in union activities. They also have the right to bargain collectively with employers. These are just some of the fundamental labor rights in Colombia, and there are many other specific provisions that protect workers in areas such as unjustified dismissal, maternity and paternity, and child protection. Uh, those are constitutional rights that wants to protect the minors at work. And I think at the end of the day, the solution to labor exploitation requires a comprehensive approach involving multiple actors, including governments, employers, workers, international organizations, and civil society. Some measures that can help address this problem include strengthening labor laws, because it's essential to have a strong labor laws that protect worker rights and establish minimum standards for working conditions, wage and job security, effective enforcement of labor laws. Labor laws, it is an important that competent authorities monitor compliance with labor laws and sanction employers who violate the labor rights of their workers. Uh, Another important thing is promotion of unionization and collective bargaining. Unions play an important role in protecting workers. Labor rights by representing workers and negotiation for working conditions with employers. And finally, education and awareness. This is important because it's important to educate workers about their labor rights and empower them to defend them, because if they don't defend themselves, who's gonna defend them? It is also crucial to raise awareness among employers and society at large about the negative impacts of labor exploitation. So that's it, and